there everybody, and welcome to my channel, Lessons with Guitar Man. My name's Aaron and I'll be your designated driver here today for this really neat lesson on the tune Swallowtail Jig. Alright, now the Swallowtail Jig is a really neat song. It's one that I think everybody should learn on the guitar, especially if you're in the flat picking world. This is a tune that I found that a lot of people know how to play, especially the fiddle players and mandolin players. This is a great one to add to your repertoire and something I think you're going to get a whole lot out of. Okay, well let's go ahead and dive right in there and see what makes Swallowtail Jig work. Alright, and starting right there at the pickup line, what you're going to see here is a 4 on an upstroke, and that's all there is in the pickup line. And then moving on to measure number 1, what we're going to have here is an open 2-2, like so. So that's open 2-2, followed by an open on the B string and a 2-2 again. So G string or 3rd string open, and then B string open. And that whole measure together slowly is going to sound like so. 1, 2, ready, go. Alright, and moving on to measure number 2, what we're going to have here is the same thing we did in the first measure for the open 2-2 in the first 3 notes. Then what we're going to do is an open 2 open. So those last 2 notes of measure number 2 change from the first measure, and it's just going to be a 2 open. So it's open 2-2, open 2 open. And that whole measure together slowly is going to sound like so. 1, 2, ready, go. And moving on to measure number 3, what you're going to have here is a 4 open open followed by a 2 open open. So that's 4 open open, 2 open open. And that whole measure together slowly is going to sound like so. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Moving on to measure number 4, you're going to have a 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, followed by a 2, open, 4. And that whole measure together slowly is going to sound like so. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Alright, and for those of you looking for the music, the tab, the backing tracks, the iReel profiles, the guitar profiles, the chords, and so much more information that goes along with this lesson, including the second half, you can come on over to my Patreon page at patreon.com/lessonswithguitarman, and all that information will be available there for you. And moving on to measure number 5, what we're going to have here in measure number 5 is the same thing we did in measure number 1, so there's nothing new to learn there. And then moving on to measure number 6, what we're going to have there is the same thing that we did in measure number 2, so there's nothing new to learn there. And then moving on to measure number 7, what we're going to have there is the same thing we did in measure number 4, so there's nothing new to learn there. But when we get to the first ending, or measure number 8, we are going to have a little new riff here, and that's going to be open, 2, open, 2, followed by a 4. So open, 2, open, 2, followed by a 4. Alright. And moving on to the second ending, or the 9th measure there, you'll notice that it's the exact same thing as the 8th measure, minus the 4, or the last note in the measure. So there's really nothing new to learn there either. Alright, so let's go ahead now and play from the first measure through the 8th measure slowly and see what that sounds like. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, so some final thoughts on this tune for you. Looking at the A section here, there's not a whole lot of tricky stuff going on there. It's mostly just straightforward picked triplet notes in the 6/8 feel, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just pay attention to that. Look at the down ups, pay real close attention to that, and it'll make getting through this song a heck of a lot easier. What I really like about it is the where you got that droning thing going on, where you're holding the E and going. I like that. And then when you go to the D, you basically do the same motif, but you do and back to that. I kind of like that. It gives it a really neat sound and a really neat feel. I guess the Irish feel, if you will, but it just is really cool. And it's a flat picker. It's very unique and something I think you're going to find really fun once you get this under your thumb. All right, well, that's a wrap on this tune. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. If you have any questions for me, feel free to send me an email listed below in the description. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll be seeing you down the road.